And some sad news, unfortunately.
Yeah, man.
A rising MMA star Victoria, the Prodigy Lee, passes away at 18. She was 1FC. She was on the rise. Only 18 years old, passed away. Now,
Rest in
they
peace.
didn't say how she passed away, but at the bottom of this article, unless I missed something, there's talking about suicide awareness line. So I'm thinking it could be something like that, unfortunate. But she's a good fighter. Her brother's a real good fighter. Only 18 years old, man. It's just sad to hear
Hmm.
anybody that young. It's a kid. Just isn't even fully developed.
No,
You know,
so
still
much
going through things
potential.
in your life. Don't get me wrong, but like not fully developed in terms of like the maturity and mental capacity for things. It's tough.
A permanent solution to temporary problems. You know, it's if you guys are going through anything, or I know it's kind of cliche, but just remember that your problems and the things that we struggle with are often just things that just seem so overwhelming, but can really be just not as big as they really are. So talk to
Usually
someone.
temporary too. Usually,
Everything's temporary. Talk to somebody. Talk to somebody.
yeah,
Yeah, rest in peace, man. It's unfortunate. It's
very
unfortunate.
very much so. Her brother is a good fighter, and it's tough, man. With sister of one champions, Angela and Christian. That's crazy. I didn't know both of her siblings. Just a family of beasts. Day after Christmas. It's unfortunate, man. Very
Mm.
sad. And slightly more sad news: Jake Paul is fighting in MMA now.
Well, yeah. This
Maybe
might
it's
not
not
be
more sad
bad
than that.
news.
That doesn't hit good. But and still
Uh, it,
kind of
it
like what the fuck?
it's about time. But I got a feeling that this could be straight entertainment. To be honest with you.
That's all he is, bro. That's like the I don't talk shit about the boxing matches other than that he can't act like he's a real boxer. But like PFL, Professional Fighters League, they used to be World Series of Fighters or World Series of Fighting, which was
Mhm.
this guy named Ray Sefo, former kickboxer. He's a beast. He helped start the organization. Now they're backed by people like Wiz Khalifa and big money people, which is crazy. Khalifa's involved, and they're starting to do pay-per-views. And they've got I like their tournament style. They've got a point system with tournaments where if you get a knockout, you advance further. There's $1 million bracket at the end. You've got some good fighters over there, but UFC ones who went over there were like Anthony Pettis, Jeremy Stevens.
Big names.
Uh, there's some other like smaller, bigger, like on the come up type of dudes who went over there, but it's like it's crazy the amount of money they're throwing out there. And now to bring Jake Paul in, they're gonna give 50% of their pay-per-view revenue to the fighters, and Jake Paul's gonna give up some of his money to the lower level fighters too. Which,
This will be
eh,
interesting. Can one guy save a league, or not save a league, but can one guy really push it? Because you know what I mean. He's being signed as an influencer, right?
well, they're
Um,
they're doing pretty well, believe it or not. So like,
oh, I
they're
believe it. No,
they're on
this is
ESPN now.
even to get him would be a big move. You know what I mean? So this is going to bring a lot of young eyes to a sport or to the sport. You know that otherwise probably wouldn't have been there, or if they weren't there, they just weren't there in a way that would get them to follow a
Not
fighter.
at
Because
PFL.
this is what's
Conor
going to get
McGregor's not
no
there.
exactly, and this is what's going to get people to start investing some time. You know, and we're talking about it, right? So will somebody else, and you know, quite frankly, Jake is a good fighter, or at least a decent boxer. So it'll be interesting to see how he makes his way into the MMA. Either A, we get to watch him finally get knocked out, or he might be able to make some moves. He'll be able to make his moves and work his way to the top. So yeah, I'll be interested to see this one as well.
Yeah.
Do they say any numbers or anything in this
So they do talk
article?
about just that he gets 50% of the revenue, but it's split with the fighters. And I guess like essentially with him, he's been trying to push this fighters league type of thing where like they compensate fighters better from UFC to everywhere. Like they split the revenue with them. UFC splits an average of like I think 5% or less of their revenue with the fighters, as where PFL's talking about doing 50% revenue shares between the promotion and athletes. So 50-50, which is
Okay.
unheard of in most organizations. It's only boxing that you'd see that because it'd
Right.
be that person's promotion doing it. Now, in this case, you've got someone who's he says as a head of as head of advocacy. I can't even talk. We got real high.
Real.
Consistently promote the PFL fighters and invite all top MMA fighters, both men and women, to join PFL and get a payday like they've never seen before. And that's the thing is like he's got part equity, I guess, in the company, so he's trying to really push in that area. And as much as I dislike the kid, man, he's trying to have a good image, and he even challenged to fight Nate Diaz in boxing, and then 6 months later in MMA.
Here
I
he
mean,
is.
how like
Here he is. Yeah, he stands by what he says, and
Son of a bitch.
yeah, will he make some moves? I'll be curious to say, or curious to see,
Yeah. I mean,
because yeah, like I
honestly,
said,
I'd
this is gonna
watch.
be breath of fresh air for the sport. So we'll see. We'll see. It's big nudes.
Yeah, make
Um,
sure if you're gonna watch, get a VPN because it's on pay-per-view.
MPK, man, thank you so much for the 9 months. We appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Twitch baby
Appreciate
right
that,
there.
man. Let's go.
We
And
just had a
Mr.
Twitch baby boy.
Oin
Boing.
Oinlister, Mr. Oinlister, thank you.
Winston.
Welcome to the chat, man. Welcome to the chat.